Good morning, traders and investors. It's modified Darvas box MDB coming at you with a July 4th weekend review. It's 10:30 a.m. on the dot, and I'm looking forward to this one because I've been doing a lot of thinking about, God, how do I want to approach things going forward? This market is just unstoppable, and there's some very good reasons about it. I got the S&P 500 latest update, so we'll look at that near the end of this video. And the update is kind of surprising in a bullish way. And so, anyways, the last couple of months, I've been very pessimistic because you see problems out in the real world. You see data that doesn't look so good on the economy, but then the narrow group of technology stocks just keeps going and keeps going. And I kept thinking, man, something's got to give. But you know what? Maybe something does not have to give. I don't know. And his history also shows that we can go along like this for a very long time. So while I've been pessimistic and I've actually traded more shorts successfully than longs in the last couple months, but you know what's interesting? The shorts are getting a little tougher and they're not going down as much, and I'm noticing that. So I'm looking to make a switch to a much more, I wouldn't call it totally bullish, but a lot less pessimistic. So that's my monologue for the beginning of the video here. Becoming less pessimistic and more bullish and more open to the bull ideas. And because we see them that they're just thundering forward, but there's good reasons for it. And my eyes have been opened a little bit. So I'm shifting my stance a little bit here. Okay, so for anybody who has never watched one of my videos before, I'm an independent trader investor. I do not have a service. I do not do little dances when my options go on. I don't trade options. I'm just probably a steady Eddie guy who's been doing this for 25 years. I made my first trade in 1995, so I'm old. I'm an old fuck. But, well, I'm not that old. But I've seen a lot in markets, so it takes a lot to get me super duper excited. But what I've done is I created my own unique trading system based on the book How I Made $2 Million in the Market. And I've added concepts from the strategy. And, you see them play out, signals and reactions to signals. I use colors in my charts here. The colors all mean something, like light gray right here. This means an inside bar. Inside bars are simply where the trading range was inside the prior bar, and inside bars are valid trading signals. And there's other colors that are also valid trading signals. I don't use moving averages. I have one moving average, but I don't really trade off it in any way, shape, or form. Moving averages, in my opinion, are inherently 50-50 propositions, and in my opinion, I don't really want to buy 50-50 bets. I want to buy stuff with much higher probability of success. If you want to do 50-50 bets, go play blackjack. Go gamble in some other ways. But in my opinion, you'll win if you have higher odds of higher probability, higher odds of winning. So anyways, let's get into it. I've got 6 different lists here, and I'm moving stocks all around back and forth. We're only going to look at the first 4, which are actionable and the best of the best, and also some indexes for the overview. So let's get into it. And we started on the dot at 10:30, and it's Saturday, July 6th. Woohoo! Okay, so starting off here, AMZ. This is MLP index. It's a proxy. I own a couple of MLPs in my income portfolio. And as we can see, steady Eddie up. And we've got a box breakout right here. We don't have any volume here, but we just can interpret this as bullish. And to me, this is going to reflect energy prices. Is energy prices going down? No, probably not. Going up? We might have higher gas prices soon. We'll see. ARK, RK, I don't recommend this, but I do keep it because it's got wonderful examples of the colors I use. For example, a yellow bar buy signal here. I code these different based on certain conditions. Those conditions are private, and I spent a lot of work uh, defining what the conditions are, but they're not impossible to hack. But, well, yellow bar you'll never figure out, but blues and pinks aren't that tough. Blues are sort of an excess bullishness where it closes higher. There's a tendency for them to be red the next week, but not always. Because you see here a different example. Pinks are more on the bearish side. And look, you see, you have signal and reaction to signal. And in my opinion, the reactions to the signals are much more important than the signal itself. The signal tells you to sit up and pay attention and figure out what you're going to do. Are you going to buy it? Are you going to let it go? Figure it out. So, but signals help you prepare for possible trades. Right here, ARK is going up slightly here. Look at that, an inside bar last week, and it moved higher. That's an actionable buy trigger right there. You would have bought it, you'd be making money. Now, I don't advise anybody to buy ARK, but it's a good example in the chart. BZW, this is a proxy for oil. You can see oil's gone down for 3 months, and now it's making a little bounce, but nothing huge. Inside a box range means nothing. Sideways. The NASDAQ. Okay, look at this. Basically the king of the indexes. It started moving here back in November, and it moved up. We had a little pink bar signal. We started going sideways. I started getting pessimistic and bearish all in there. Basically, I called it because the market told me to call it. We had a couple of signals with negative reactions, and then this one right here. This one is where the market decided, nope, you know what? While we freaked out here, the future is still bright. We can't really sell this much more. Start buying it again. Now, trading in here was very sloppy, but bullish resolution here. Another signal here. This is a hammer bar, coded yellow. Hammer, bullish resolution. And look at that. It just keeps going higher. And now we had, last week we had a blue bar signal, a little excess bullishness. What happens? We go to the holiday week and slam it higher. The bulls slam it higher. And this here's your actionable trigger right there. If you haven't bought in any here, well, you should have been buying this past week because that's a bullish signal right there. And you can also see the Bollinger Bands are expanding here. And when Bollinger Bands are an interesting subject, but they tend to expand and contract as prices move. And right now they're on expansion, opening up. Prices are probably going higher. If we look at the monthly chart, nothing wrong on the monthly either. And there's your yellow bar signal, a little sideways, and yeah, it just keeps going up. The king of the indexes. Tech, all the time. Crypto, Ethereum. Honestly, you probably were super bullish here, and if you've lost bullishness here, I wouldn't blame you, but that's a sideways range. But I don't trade Ethereum, so I'm not really all that worried about it. FFTY, a proxy for growth. Growth is not doing as good in whatever's in this. I forget what stocks are in this, but a lot more negative signals here. And remember, we're still in a narrow market. The big 7 techs or big 8 or big 10, whichever you want. Selected technology stocks just are absolute gigantic winners. A lot of the rest of the market is not winning. A lot of the rest of the market's struggling. But maybe it's beginning to struggle a little less. That's probably the whole point of my little monologue rant at the beginning. And we see here it's poking its head up outside this little box range. Positive. China, sideways. I don't invest in China. I don't think anybody should either. Bitcoin. I love it. So I was a buyer of GBTC. I basically bought the low here. Did I know it was the low? No. I simply bought just a little bit in pre-market, and because I like round numbers, and I bought it 49. And to me, this was basically a no-brainer buy. What I see here is sideways action, and it's been so quiet. There's been nothing. Nothing here. No signals, no big bad volume. The last big bad volume was right here, and that's what checked it and made it go sideways. And since then it's been quiet. So the gamblers inside here and the side couldn't hack the sideways range, but now you get what's called an undercut and a reclaim, and that's what I think is going to happen, and it was worth betting on. I bought it here, I sold it here. I made a tragic mistake because I ignored this big bar. This one right here, the volume, said, hey, we're not done with this. We're going to be buying more of it. I should have bought it back, but I didn't, and I missed this part of the run right here. But that's okay, because it then went sideways here. You'd been sitting on this. Imagine how bored the traders up in here must have gotten. And that's the thing. Can you sit and hold for long periods of time? If you can't sit, you're never going to make from here all the way to here, etc. You'll have sold, bought, sold. In many ways, buy and hold is very superior to the in and out traders. And like I said, I missed it right here. I'm thrilled to be back into it right here because was I going to buy in here? There's no signals. There's no big volume. There's nothing for me to latch onto in there. And again, I don't really trade off of a moving average. I take note of it, but you get some people who've got like 10 moving averages on their screens. No offense, I don't know how they do it. How do you pick from one to another? I got the 10, the 17, the 21, the 30, the 40, the 50, the 60, the 150, the 200. I mean, it's just too much clutter. But I'm long right there. I'm feeling very proud of myself. Gold. Interesting that gold's going higher. Look at that. That's threatening a breakout. Man, our currency, the central bank stuff is just insane. Another reason for being more bullish, junk bonds, poking its head above. That's a sign of good, of an improving economy. If junk bonds were head down, that would be a problem. Software, look at that. Tech. Big dump right here. And then bulls, and you see the volume. If you analyze volume, if you ignore volume, you're missing out on a valuable tool. Some people think volume doesn't matter. I think it does. Big red, they're selling. But look at that. Bulls jumped in and said, no, not so fast. And then they jumped in again and formed, there's two signals right in here, both to buy. Look at the outcome. 1, 2, 3, higher. Sometimes that's all you need to do to read what to do on the chart. It's that simple. But software is doing phenomenal. Now here's some of the areas which I latched onto as a negative. Housing. Look at that. You've got a nice uptrend starting back here in November with everything else. A little warning stuff here, but it didn't stick. Kept moving higher, but then sort of sideways. Anything to be concerned about? No, not really. And then you get a sell signal right here. That's a shooter bar, which is an inverse hammer. And what does it do the next week? It triggers bear. And then it sort of struggles down in here. And now here we got another signal. Inside weak. And it resolves to the downside. And a lot of up and down trading. But now it's breaking the box, going down. Now the only thing which means it's not super bear is that there's no big red volume here. So, but housing is struggling. I'm short some housing. I've seen videos of poor quality, high interest rates. Who can afford homes? It seems like their pool of customers is getting smaller. And so anyways, I see bearish stuff like that. That got me thinking bear side, but uh, like I said, I'm getting a little more bullish. Microcaps doing nothing. IWM doing nothing sideways. Who cares? Healthcare, the prick Obama and how he screwed it all up. But look at that, sideways. And it was threatening higher here. For portfolio allocation, you might have been a buyer here, but now you're down a little bit. ETFs are a good way of managing a long-term portfolio. But I'm a trustee on our family trust, and we've got a lot of ETFs. And an interesting thing, as I'll talk about in a sec, is benchmarks. But this is not a bad one to own. No bad signals here, just more sideways. Transports, again, this is a little bearish here, but look at that, threatening to go down, but then look at the volume. Big green, big green. The bulls are just saying, no, it's not time yet. Now, here's a little, still struggling a little bit, and that might reflect some of the real world economy stuff, which isn't doing so hot. Right here, equal weighted NASDAQ. And this is what's interesting I want to talk about. This here is showing the NASDAQ is ripping. This is showing that equal weighted basis, yeah, it's going up. Just not ripping like the NASDAQ. And again, that's because of those Big 7, Big 10, whatever, the huge stocks that just win, win, win. Now, here's the interesting thought. For managing portfolios, because the indexes are getting so skewed, should your new benchmarks be equal weighted indexes? That's a good question. And it's something I'm debating doing our advisors for the family trust, which I oversee. Because how can you have a benchmark of an index where the top 7 stocks are like 30% or more or less, it's just getting ridiculous. Gold, I own this one. Look at that. There's the box breakout. On this one, it's a little bit of a box breakout, but volume's low. Either way, we'll see. But it's not bearish. It's bullish. QQQ, going higher, matching the NASDAQ. Fewer signals, lower volume, but going up. Now here's an equal weighted index, QQQE, which I just grabbed. I didn't even know this existed for a long time. But it's got more signals on it, but should be the same. Big difference is that, which I don't quite understand, is that this equal weighted versus this one are a little different. And I don't quite understand why. Focus over right here, this section right here. That one just kept going down, whereas this one kept going sideways. Now, fast forward to now, and they're much more similar. So maybe it's okay now, but it looked a little weird. Shouldn't equal weighted indexes be the same? I don't know. Here's the equal weighted S&P sideways. Does this look like a roaring bull market? Fuck no. Look at that. Sideways, sideways, sideways. This is more showing the negativity in the regular economy, the regular market. And this is what makes me pessimistic. Where's the big green volume? There isn't any. It started here with everything else, but that's like, should you be mega bullish? Well, it's hard to say. On the broad market, maybe not. Interest rates, short-term rates, poking a little higher, nothing there. Semiconductors, yeah, you'd think it'd be bullish. Yeah, duh, it's bullish. Here we go, S&P 500, regular. Look at that. There was a bearish signal right here. Well, when the bearish signal gets failed to the upside, that's a buy signal. That tells you you're so wrong, that these guys were so wrong, and all the bulls did was slam it higher. But that's the impact of those 7 mega cap tech stocks. When they're allowed to be price weighted, it's a huge bull market. When it's equal weighted, yeah, it's not doing so much. Interesting, huh? Spies matching that. A little bit of sentiment here. What do we got? That's right in the middle. This one here above the 200 day, right at the 50% mark. Half the stocks in the market are above the 200, half are not. And if we zoom out, back here in 2021, everything was above. 2022 at the bottom, nothing was. So right in the middle, that's benign. Now, above in the shorter term, 40 day, that's a little light, 33%, but it's sort of holding. So we'll see. Solar, the tan, broke its Darvas box. Buyers stepped in a little bit, but nothing huge. I think solar is just a bad sector. It's been a bad sector forever. Look at that, just endless sideways and down. I think the economics of solar are just horrible too. I personally feel it's it's only around because of politicians, and I think we all have a very low opinion of politicians these days. Uh, what do we got here? TLTs. TLTs. I just drew a box here. Now that's because this is starting to look sideways. But if this all of a sudden goes down, I do require this low the next couple of weeks to be higher than this low in order for the lower edge to be set. But if somehow price goes down, well then we'll move the box and we might have to expand it or something like that. So, but I felt confident enough that that probably will stick, so started to draw one. VIX, nothing happening on the VIX. I did point out on the monthly that there's a signal. See that inside bar, how it's coded right here? But what does it do? It's sideways. Hasn't done it. Hasn't done jack. So we'll see. It's got another few weeks in the month. What, 3 more weeks? We'll see. We'll see what it does. But man, nothing going on there. Commercial real estate or REITs, whatever. There's a little bit of a signal sideways. I keep reading headlines about office buildings that were bought for $500 million like 4 years ago and then just sold for like $7 million. Huge losses. But, you know, I don't know. Home builders, another ETF on home builders. See, that's a clear breakdown. But again, volume is light. So we'll have to see how this goes, whether this accelerates to the downside. I think it will. Or, you know, what's it going to do? But that's, you see, signals. That's a bearish looking signal. Oil and gas, not doing much. Financial, sideways, but there's a potential signal right there. Might be something interesting. JP Morgan, Chase is a big component of this, and my dad has a lot. So he is a very happy guy right now because he loves Jamie Dimon and JP Morgan. All right, list 2. This is textbook box breakout leaders. What's a textbook box breakout? Amazon has a textbook box breakout. Textbook is, it breaks out of the box range and you get big volume. The volume's in the right spot. Many times volume might be in the wrong spot and then it looks a little lopsided, but these are the best of the best. When it does it like this, to me it's perfect. Amazon looks great, going up. A lot of options people are doing little dances, you know, their little victory dances. But the funny thing about options guys, they never put a ton of money into those trades, but then, and percentage wise, yeah, you can make tons. But you ever find somebody who put their whole account in options? That's insane. What do we got here? ANET moving higher. Tech all the time. The little Bkov, which I bought. Textbook box breakout. And so far, week 2, looking a little decent. And you see the Bollinger Band? Following the Bollinger Band. If you read up on Bollinger Bands, it's basically above the Bollinger line, volatility line, is a little bit of abnormal excessive price. It's sort of like if it's within inside the bands, it's quote normal from a perspective of volatility. If there's a better definition, let me know. But that's a pretty good definition. So what does it do? Abnormal stuff, it's sold off a little bit. It's right on the edge of normal and crazy. That's a better way of saying it. Normal here, crazy here. Normal and crazy. I like it. Baker Hughes, had a box breakout in here. Volume is low. And look at that. It went back in. Therefore, that doesn't belong on this list at all. We'll put it into watching. So you see, my lists are sort of like a form of relative strength also. What do we got here? The Bros, which I completely misjudged. Traded, made some money, but it'd probably be better if I was still sitting from back in here. And because this just looks great. Nothing wrong here. A little inside signal, but nothing wrong there. Little guys, this little one discovered that they do like Bitcoin mining, but with AI. God, buzzwords. But it looks brilliant. Box breakout here. Big green volume. A little sideways here to inside, but there's a buy signal. Buy signal, it's about to go through. Honestly, this is probably going to take off next week. Probably. That's about as bullish as you can get. CrowdStrike, there's that box breakout textbook. And then look at that. Big red volume. You know what? People discount, you got to interpret this. Yeah, it's big volume. That means there's a lot of buyers. It also means there's a ton of sellers in there. And why are they selling? Well, it's an index thing. But the thing is when there's a lot of sellers, it fills up the demand. Look how now prices started going sideways now because the demand got filled. Now, it's still a big tech, so it'll probably still go up, but don't expect it to rip. Here, ripper. Here, ripper. Here, not so ripper. Here is hit the brakes. So, and you can see the impact of that. So people say volume doesn't matter. I disagree. CVNA, I own it. Move this here. It struggled a little bit here this week, but big volume here. And we'll see how it goes. If it fails, well, I'll sell it. But I like it at the moment. Deck, look at that pullback. This is actually a violation right here. See that? The box edge. It's like, what are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do on this kind of pullback? And there's a inside bar signal and it broke downwards. Honestly, this would be a sell. If you bought it in here, sell it right here. Isn't that funny how it takes off and then pulls back all that? The long-term trend looks great, but it's how are you going to trade it if you're new to the stock? Don't lose money. Don't lose money. Here was your signal back here. But I like Hoka shoes, but I bought the Nikes. I like the Nikes a lot. So, I don't know. Hood, box breakout, moving higher, a little signal. We'll see how that resolves. Here's another little guy, IREN. How bullish is that? It's so bullish, I don't own any of it. The little guys I kind of stay away from, but I will bet on them occasionally. And I got one coming up, which I'll show you. NVIDIA, there's that box breakout. Oh, it needs a volume. Box breakout right there. Look at it go up. And now a couple of weeks of sideways. No big volume, nothing to be worried about. Maybe volume's going down a little bit, but at the moment, NVIDIA is probably going to go up more in the future. ON. I'm a buyer here. So we had the Darvas box breakout, moved up. It's been coming back down a little bit. There's a little bit of a sell signal, but nothing major. If you're long, you're frustrated. But key level, Two key levels right in here. It hit number 2. I had text alerts go off. These key levels are from the strat. And the blue, I'll tell you, is the yearly pivot. And meaning was the stock positive for the year in 2024, or has it gone back to red? And this other one is another one. I think it's quarterly or monthly. But either way, when a confluence of triggers like that occurs, tends to be more important support, resistance, etc. A little secondary thing, technique, but you need to be aware of the strat in order to have that. So I was looking for signals on the pullback. I found one. We'll see if it sticks. So far, it's sticking a little bit. Oracle looks great. Tech. The little guy. Is anyone here a poet? Poet. Is this beautiful? Yellow bar buy signal. Goes sideways, makes a box. Gets a little quiet. And then has what I call goalpost volume. I am not the inventor of goalpost volume, but when you see goalposts, you've got it. It's like a probability thing. You don't know what it's going to do, where it's going to go, but you know it's going to be a wild ride. And let me show you an example of that. So I'm long just a little under $3, and Donald Trump, DJT. Here's a great example of goalpost volume. Look how this took off. There we go. Goalposts right there, and boom, boom, boom. It's been a wild ride. Would I be buying this now? No, but take it higher. Look, it went all the way up to from 20 to 80. That's a 4-bagger in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, you know, but a decent example. So when I see goalposts, I'm willing to put a little bit of money down, and it's a little guy. So Rivian box breakout. Yep. Look at the Bollinger Bands, though. Still squeezing down. This one might sell down as the bands come together, or it might not, you know, because it's so unexpected. I would almost put this more something like that. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to leave those up there. Shark Ninja going up, but a little pullback. This is on the verge of forming a box. If it has not yet, but if it forms a box, then this will come off this list. All right. Tesla, everybody's new fan favorite. Box breakout right here. It started moving in here, and it really shifted gears back here. Big volume here, went sideways, consolidated. Yeah, signal here, it didn't do anything. But here's where it really started to move. If we look at the daily, what do we see? Yellow bar signal followed by yellow bar again. Popped higher. And then you had some other mini signals in here, and then it really started accelerating. So there are multiple chances to get into it. I didn't buy it, but it's really doing phenomenal. And remember about normal and crazy? At the moment, it closed in Crazy Town, based from a look of volatility. So maybe next week it sells down a little bit to get back to normal's range. I don't know. We'll see. It was a short holiday week after all, so we'll see. Wally Mart, fantastic. These guys probably want inflation. They love inflation. Love it. This other one, again, another crypto deal, whatever, but it just looks fantastic. That's where the bull market is. All right, let's look at signals that triggered on the bull side. How much time we got? Okay, we're doing okay on time. Going to wrap real soon. All these ones are either in motion bullish or they've had a bullish trigger. Apple, there it is right here. Here's your bullish trigger. There's actually 3 of them in here. That zone right there. Signal, bull, signal, little undecided, then back to signal again, up, up, up. Pretty amazing. AMD, there's your inside bar with a bullish resolution. And it's funny, it started on the bear side. But here's something that's missing. Is there any volume here? Nah. This moves a nothing burger. If you see people dancing about AMD, it's a B player. It's not an A player at this juncture. APP, that's a box breakout. But look how they fought it and volume was light. It can still work. And look how it went sideways. Red, 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 red. But, it's missing the volume. They didn't want it. ARM. Come on, ARM. Okay, ARM. It's really funny. I have not been long ARM at all. I've still made like 44 points out of 181 point move. Well, from here, now 50 to 130 points. I've made 44 points, and I've done it all on the short side, which is sort of insane. I shorted it here. I covered down here. Shorted it here, covered here, shorted it again. What I thought was a top. Thought I might make bigger money, but nope, this crazy bull market. And then the signals on the daily. Come on. Signals on the daily. You see right there? I was clinging to it, and then I figured I'd get run in. But once I saw that, I'm like, yeah, I'm out. And look at it go. This one got pumped hard by the Japanese fella. I forget his name off the top, but he's a madman, but a bullish madman. And he said that this one was like if he could sell everything he owned and only own this, he would. Pretty powerful. I still don't even know what they do, meaning I don't quite understand the chipsets and all that. It's AI, it's chips. That's all I understand. But super duper bullish. It passed the prior high. Amazing. This one here, low volume, breakout, low volume though. And by the way, the reason why ARM is on here is because I just occurred to me, I didn't mention it. This here's a bearish. Here, let me move that. This was a bearish signal, but it never triggered bear. And so once you go above it, it's like, well, game on. So, but it doesn't need that anymore. That one there. D-Dog, yellow bar, buy, signal, bullish. This one's got the yellow bar, but sort of struggling sideways. Even Ford Motor Company. Wait a minute. I thought the economy was doing bad. Well, Ford had a yellow bar buy signal. Look at that. With a bullish reaction. Huh. Beats me, but that's bullish. Geo, box breakout. Yellow bar, box breakout. Volume's a little low, but still bullish. Google keeps going. Google hasn't stopped from these signals right here. JP Morgan, just barely on the edge. But you just see bullish. You know, Facebook, hate Mark Zuckerberg. Just remember, everything about Mark Zuckerberg, these guys were censoring the crap out of the United States. So, you know, screw them. But they just make money. It's amazing. MNDY, bullish, box breakout. But again, low volume, holiday week. We'll see if it sticks. Microsoft, bearish signal last week. Bullish resolution. Oh, Netflix keeps going. Now up. PanW keeps going. Look at that. Signal, reaction, signal, reaction, signal. But it keeps going higher. PLTR, box breakout. Oh no, low volume. It can still work. This one right here, new IPO. Bear, crazy bear, inside, now back to bull. I mean, what are you going to do? Reddit. What's it missing? Say it. Say the words. No volume. But it still can work. See, it's working. Even snow. I was short snow here, covered it here. See the signal right there? Told me to cover. That's the market talking to you. You don't need moving averages. You don't need anything, just interpretation. If you have decent interpretation, you'll do just fine. This one here, box breakout, low volume. But you see the pattern, it's holding true. This one right here, breakout, and it keeps going higher. I remove these if they go down 2 weeks in a row. Then I'll move it off, but so far it hasn't even been down 2 weeks in a row. Uber. We had a signal right here. Bullish resolution, but not so good. If Uber's down next week, well, then it'll come off this list. Oil equipment, signal right here, higher, but not right here. We'll see how it goes. All right, let's get into the bearish signals, and then we'll wrap. Oh, I got to do the S&P. Affirm going down as usual. That's shortable, even though volume's low. But if you're looking for shorts, if you're looking for negative correlation to offset like technology stocks, yeah, buy NVIDIA and short Affirm. You got a great balanced portfolio. A-Lab right here. I've tried this one. I just can't make it work. But the tendency, look at the trend here, is down. But man, bumpy road. Coal did a huge move up, and now it came right back down. Hate to say it, that's a bearish looking signal. Housing. Lumber. Big white bar sell signal. Screwed around for a couple weeks. I shorted it. I had a try back in here. Shorted it in there, and ever since, look at that. Who says you need to buy tech stocks? If you turn this chart around, you'd be buying it hand over fist. You'd be talking about it. You'd be doing dances. What's the outlook for home builders when their supplier is going down like that? All this shit is linked. Caterpillar, box breakdown right there. Yeah, I took a short on that again. And maybe it'll stick this time. And you see where I think I went wrong is the Bollinger Bands just aren't ready for Crazy Town. They're going nice and sideways. Let's do a better, let's show this better. Many times if you think you're going to be good, right there we go. Does that look like it's ready for Crazy Town? Back here, no. There was my fundamental mistake. But as time goes by, Sell H, I'm short this one. Why should I be long it? You see, we got a signal bar here. It either goes down to continue, or if it hits the top, well, then I'll be out. But making money. Figure out a way to make money. You don't have to do it my way. Just figure out ways to make money. At the end of the day, make money. Roaring Kitty, that guy's so tiresome. I wish he'd actually do something. Interesting. Anybody can buy stock. He was much more interesting back in GME a year ago or 2 years ago, whatever. Right there, that is a negative signal bar with a slight trigger, but it's chewy. Just straight volume analysis. Big volume here. A lot of sellers stepped up here. It's probably done at the moment. With Bitcoin going down, Coinbase is actually holding up fairly good in here. You had a negative signal there, but it didn't drop as much as Bitcoin did, etc. Housing, that's bearish. I'm short that. DraftKings down. Look at that. There's a bear signal. ENPH, solar. Solar sucks. I've shorted it in here. I actually had to make 2 tries in this because every open, the computers would jack it up, and then within 15 minutes or 30 minutes, it would lose it all. It's just so ridiculous. For solar, box breakdown. General Motors had the little signal here, but they'll figure that out. Ford Motor Company's up. That might go up. Lockheed, defense. Shooter bar right there. That's bearish with a bearish resolution. But it's inside the box. You'd think defense would be going higher. But ML, my big winner, bought it back here, sold here, and I sold my last piece in here. I was hoping for a long-term capital gain, August to August. I just couldn't pull it off. And this big red volume, it's probably index or whatever, but, I was hoping for a bullish reaction, but So, get rid of it. I'm done. Micron. People don't think that this is important. 2 big reds. Micron said that they're at full capacity. They can't build any more chips. If they're at full capacity, how much more money can they make? Meaning they're making as much money as they're gonna make. So time to punch out. They can't make more money. So, time to punch out. I bet you this thing goes sideways for a while. Qualcomm, look at that. There was the bearish shooter bar, resolved to the downside. A lot of volume. It might still go up, but maybe Qualcomm's similar to Micron. Maybe chips have reached max. I don't know. Defense company, pink, hasn't really resolved. SE had the pink signal right there, but look at that reaction. Nice bullish. I wish there was more green, but that's all right. I'm long this one. I do have longs. Bought it back in here. Almost done. SoFi. There's that signal, but hasn't done anything, but still just slowly going down. And there's the white bar sell signal. The biggest problem this stock has is up here. It has almost 1 billion shares outstanding. It's a big fat whale. It's impossible to move it. It's like an oil tanker. VST right here. There was a bearish signal, but it resolved for a smidge bullish, but then didn't close that. I just look at this. Red sell. It's not really bearish, but it's sort of lost its mojo a little bit. It needs to rest. It's big brother, CEG. I tried shorting this on a new idea. It didn't really pan out. It panned out, but then it stopped. And so I got out of it. But this looks worse. See, big sell. But it going sideways. So, okay, that's it for the list. Now let's get into the S&P 500. Okay. Got the latest numbers as of July 3rd, 3 days ago. What did it do? Up 4% compared to the last time I had looked at it. We have a lovely future here, 18.7 average percent EPS growth. That's really good, except valuations are getting really high. 25 bubble. Yeah, it's in bubble valuation territory, and it's been that way for almost for 2 quarters and projected out to 4 quarters. The reason why this is serious and is a bearish point is it means that average valuations are just a little too high. Now, we've had periods in the market where this has been above 25 during the COVID rebound right there, okay, and this is what you got, and then the market came to its senses. But look at its history. This is abnormal. This was the panic of 2009, great financial crisis. And again, the PEs went up because earnings went in the toilet. So the comparable period here is actually the internet bubble. Going into the internet bubble, even during the wonderful markets of 97, now I placed my first trade somewhere like right in here. Look at that. PEs were very manageable. And then we had the Asian financial crisis here. And it shoved PEs higher, and then they never came back down because the market came back because of the Federal Reserve, etc., cutting interest rates. And the market's valuation, yeah, the market kept going up until it blew out right about in here. And then the earnings finally caught up to it and fell off a cliff. And then we had 3 years of just horrible markets because markets were trading too high valuation. So that's how I get pessimistic when I see our valuations going higher because of this tech boom. Last thing on the annual table, you can see here on the trailing PEs above 25. Here are those years above 25, and one here, and now here. You can see how abnormal it has been. And I bolded this here for when it got into the 16s and below, because 16 and below is a deal. So anyways, this is the latest S&P outlook. It's just incredible how much money the indexes are making. The future looks bullish. The question is, are we a little too hot? Probably, and we'll see what happens going forward. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and trade them well next week. Have a good one. Bye-bye.